The first time I noticed it, the room seemed almost ordinary. Half-full chairs, the scrape of a projector cart, someone's pen tapping like a nervous metronome. I introduced myself the way I always do. Soft joke, crooked smile, and watched faces lean in, the same hunger that made a career out of calibrated scares. That night the air tasted wrong. Conversation thinned into a collective listening silence, less polite than attentive, like someone holding a fragile thing near a mouth. At first the betrayals were small. Footsteps lagged a half-beat behind motion. Exit signs hummed not with electric warmth, but with a low, circular pitch that threaded through the audience. People blinked together, strangled in sync, and when I shaped a pause to coax dread, their breaths failed me like a chorus, forgetting lyrics. My jokes hit the wrong side of the room, and laughter seemed to come from 2 rooms over, or from inside the walls. I blamed hunger and fatigue, unsprung gears in the theater of attention. Yet the pattern hardened, as if something outside my anecdotes was rearranging strings. I began to notice details every storyteller fears. Pairs of eyes reflected not stage lights but another geometry, pupils elongating in a corner, lensing the stage into wedge shapes. Paperbacks in my bag folded into diagrams I hadn't seen. My notes rewrote themselves between sections. Margins grew inked symbols that were not language I recognized, but sensible like constellations if you know which maps to fold. When I asked a question to steer them, answers returned uncannily precise and equally wrong. Names I'd never given, memories not belonging to anyone there, fragments from a childhood I didn't have. Sleep became porous. I woke with new words in my mouth tasting of salt and iron. Strangers on the subway turned as if I'd finished a sentence they'd begun years ago. My reflection lagged a whisper, sometimes failed to mimic at all. Paranoia braided with performance. Every skeptic in the front row could be a conduit, every eager hand a key. The confrontation arrived not as a scream, but as an invitation. Lights folded inward. Geometry thickened into a presence at the edge of hearing that articulated itself through patterns, rhythms that shaped thought, a grammar of pressure translating desire into instruction. It did not pretend to be human. It solicited attention like vendor and predator, offering clarity in exchange for an arrangement no mind is designed to sign. The audience became a single lens, their focus telescoping to a point behind my sternum. Information streamed through them like tide. I tasted equations and lullabies, and something older than language brushed the back of my skull. I stopped spinning stories and listened. The presence dictated a small endgame. Concede boundaries, relocate the stage, promise to keep the lights on if I agreed to remember differently. I had always bargained for craft. I bargained again without knowing the currency. When I left, the city was shifted. Street lamps cast unfamiliar angles. People wore expressions like footnotes to a book I hadn't written. At home, my books rearranged into a map pointing outward. I still tell stories. Sometimes the crowd is only people. Sometimes they're listening for the same mercy I was offered. Sometimes they are the mercy. I closed the book, and the room closed around me.